Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh with a Project Torture tutorial. We're going to do a third blueprinting one this time. The first one we talked about lights. We're talking lights, how we could change them, do things with them, do things weird with them. And then we talked about collars, like materials. We were changing the way the materials were looking, like their collars and different things like that via blueprints. And today we're going to do locations. We're going to make things move. We're going to create a couple obstacles for this baller game that I'm creating. I can press F11 to full screen and then Alt-P and jump into my game. And I got this guy just walking around on this really awful surface. So problem is, it's kind of boring. You know, I'm not really having a lot of fun here. I just jump off the edge and think about dying, but that's not really what I try to do on the regular basis. Let's get about right here and let's jump in. And let's start making a couple obstacles. We'll make them simple, and you guys can hopefully use these tools to your advantage later. So right-click, blueprint, actor, name it moving cube. There we go. I'm not 100% sure what this thing's doing there. We'll get rid of it. So here we go. Here's our moving cube that we created. Double-click on it, and we go into the blueprint editor, and you're like, I don't get it. I don't either, but it doesn't matter. Check it out. Add a component, scroll all the way down, and create a scene. The reason is just so we have a root component there so we can start doing work. Okay, let's get started. Add a component. We need it to be a static mesh, and we need to go to the static mesh editor here, and we need it to be a cube. Epic Unreal Engine 4. They're so awesome. They give us a big list of shapes we can use in our game, and it's awesome. But okay, so here's the cube. I'm pretty picky. I need it to be a little bigger. So the scale right here, I want to change it to 3. And it's going to change all the axes to 3. So bam, I got me a cube here. I'm loving it. I like how big it is. It makes me happy. I'm going to scroll down. We're going to check the collision before we go any further because it needs to block everything. You got your ignore, and that's obviously not what we want. Overlap may sound exciting, but it's not. And then there's block, which is obviously what we want. Because if it runs into me, I should be getting blasted off the level. I mean, you know, not that dramatic. But yeah, let's compile and say we're good, and let's go over to the graph. All right, what do we want? What do we want to do? I want to take this cube, and I want it to go from left to right, over and over and over, just as an obstacle that I have to avoid. Simple enough. Event, begin play. What do we need to do? We need to store the location of the variable, or the location of the actor so we can move it. So we need to get its location. Okay, get actor location. Well, there it is. Here's its location. What do we want to do with it? Well, I want to promote it to a variable. What that means is, now this variable is mine. I've got it right here. I want to name it initial location. The best I can. I'm going to just click that little eyeball because it makes me happy. But anyway, the point is I'm going to plug this in. So now all I'm saying is, at event begin play, get the actor's location and set it to be this variable. So now this variable is that location. I can use it at any time, whenever I need it. Anytime. Or I can reset it as another value. But hey, I've got it. All right, let's keep going. Let's add a timeline. Right click, add timeline. So this is how we're going to make everything move. We can name our timeline. We're not worried about that right now, but let's drag a wire into play from start. And then what we're doing is setting the actor location to update via our timeline. So set actor location, and you just plug the update straight into there. And okay, we've got a good start on it here, but the only problem is here's the location, the new location that we need, and it's set to 0, 0, 0, and that's probably not going to do it, but I'm dragging a line, and I'm not seeing any inputs that's really going to match up with. Well, that's going to get started with this timeline. Double click on that thing and create a vector track, because that's what we're working with. A vector is a location. We can name it movement if you want, or whatever I spelled. All right, so we can go the length here. I'm thinking 3 seconds. And it's obviously going to need to be looping what we're creating. So go ahead and click looping. Now let's go over here and let's say we don't want to work with all 3 axes, just one. So let's get rid of those 2 and just mess with the green one here. Left to right. All right, let's create a key by holding shift and clicking. Now we're going to go right here and we're going to set it to be 0 on time and 0 on value. So it's just the starting point. Let's create a second key. Shift, click. We'll set it to halfway through the length, 1.5, and we'll set it to 1750. That's the number. We're going to go from location 0 to location 1750. Or something like that on the Y. A third one, we'll name it 3 for 3 seconds and then back to 0. And you're like, dude, I don't see my line. I'm confused. It's not working. Click these 2 arrows right here and make it fit to your screen. Now you can kind of see what's happening, right? Huh? Now draw a line. And we're going to make sure we can get all 3 of our dots in there. I'm going to right click it, press auto, and I got a little curvy goodness, a little sway, a little swag, a little nothing, honestly. It's basically just making your location kind of like blend, and I like that. So I mean, I think we're pretty much done. Compile and close that tab, and there's our timeline. And look, there's our vector output. We can, yeah, you know, just kind of get, no, what, no, don't do that yet. It's got a little bit of a problem. If you plug that in, it works. I mean, it looks like it's nice, but the problem is it's going from 0 to 1750. Unreal's like, where is 0? And how do I know where that is? I don't know. So what we need to do, hold Alt and click to get rid of that. Let's drag in this into location because we know where we are. And we have this location and this location. We honestly just need to add them together. So it's vector, right? Vector plus vector. We'll drag that in, and that's it. That is happening. Bap. Compile. Exit. Now let's drag this thing into our game and see how awful it is. Now, if I put it about right here on the edge, and I set it about right here, F11 to full screen, Alt-P. Oh, yes. Do it. Don't be scared. Get out of the way. You know what's happening here. Now, we can make this just a little more interesting. I kind of want them to go left and right, and then maybe other ones that go the opposite direction. Check this out. I got my little blueprint right here that I just continuously drag all over my world, but I'll right-click it and click Duplicate. And it sets a second one here. Now, I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to take this timeline here, and instead of it being 1750, I'm going to set it to negative 1750. Now, basically, all that's doing is sending it in the opposite direction. So now if I set one of those second ones over here, and then I play F11 and Alt-P, bam, we've got them walking like different directions there, which is super exciting. I don't even know how to, I'm speechless. It's incredible. You know, just to make it really cool, really quick, I'll show you another trick and just click that one. Hold CTRL, click that one. We've got them both selected. Press spacebar until we can move them with the move tool. And then if you're holding Alt when you move, it will make copies. So I'm just making copies of that blueprint. Making copies. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to go right back here. Alt-P after I F11 one more time. And there we go. We got a little bit of action going on. We got to avoid these little boxes. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little tricky if you're not careful. I mean, it's it's a very quick way of creating platforming style movements and attributes to your game. So hey, hope you guys learned something. It's a really quick, easy tool. I just figured I'd make something about timelines because they're really useful. As you can tell, once again, just to recap, we basically did all our work right here in the timeline. It does all the moving for us. We set the curves the way we want them to move. We set it on only the y-axis. We basically said at the beginning of the game, take the location and create a variable. That way we can take that variable and add this timeline movement to it and set the new location. And that's it. And that's all, guys. It's very simple. I know it looks complicated, but I'm glad you guys are watching. I hope you guys are learning some stuff. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and please like our Facebook page. I appreciate everything. If there's any more questions, guys, feel free to ask me. I will be back in a few days with another video, but until then, have a blessed day. Thanks.